Hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the video. Today we've got a bit of a celebrity in the shop, and that is the Traxxas Maxx Slash. This truck has been received so oddly compared to other Traxxas products where people are really, well, you've got kind of two sets of people. You've got the ones who, the typical Traxxas fanboys that are just like, hey, oh my God, it's a great truck. You're driving it wrong. You've done this wrong. You don't know how to drive. You don't know how to use throttle. And then you've got everybody else who did the same thing that I did. You watched that early Traxxas video. You saw this truck launch at a playground. You launch at a skate park. And that in itself, guys, Traxxas set the stage for what they wanted this truck for and how they wanted this truck to get out there. This truck is a basher. The name itself, the Maxx Slash 4x4 was a great bashing truck. It was a great truck to build off of. Whether you were building on-road, monster trucks, you name it, we used the Slash. And that's why I think a lot of people got excited about this, because they saw all those conversions that were done on something like a Slash 4x4, again, from certain on-road bodies to the Profusion body for doing a monster truck kind of setup and stuff like that conversion, to that you also have that name, which is Traxxas's heavy-duty basher name. Let's face it, that's what the 4S Max was. It was their super bashing truck, their super hardcore truck. You put those two names together, well, that's what they're telling you. They are telling you that this is a super bashable Slash 4x4. And that, guys, is what that's what got me to buy this truck. When I watched those first videos and I saw the first pictures, I got excited of what this truck can, but also what it can be, even later on when we start getting into the aftermarket world. Now, I'm going to address one thing right off the bat. I have watched all the videos that you guys have watched, and I've seen the reviews, and I've seen the mixed bag of shit that is this truck, and I'm ignoring them all. I am going to open this box with fresh eyes, and the first few runs, I am just going to be taking it all in myself. I am not going to be thinking about other people's videos, other people's setup, none of that stuff. Now, saying that, I will still comment on the parts that have me concerned, but I will also be commenting on the parts that I like. So guys, with no further delay, let's just get into that truck. All right, guys, we've got the truck out of the box, and it does sure look good. I love the blue, the grays, and the blacks. I love the way they've done their graphics. The blue has a bit of a kind of pearl in it, so it's a little bit sparkly. I'm not a fan of the front of a Slash 4x4. I've never really dug this part right here and down, the way the headlights go and stuff like that. I would have rather have seen something more like a Raptor R-ish sort of look, or UDR with the flat, or the Mojave kind of with the flat nose sort of thing. I kind of prefer that look. But I do know that this here is a Slash 4x4. This is the look that the Slash 4x4 has, so I can understand why they went with it. Quickly, just getting to the back of the truck as well. They do have got these 4 little vents right here. That's going to help with releasing a little bit of air. I don't think it's going to do much. One thing with short course trucks is they always get that parachute effect, because when air gets under the truck, there's not really much air. There's no way really for it to release, so it kind of parachutes down. Now, I understand that these holes are helped to kind of design that, or they could be here for a light kit. Who knows? I'll be honest, guys, I don't know. I haven't really looked into all the accessories for this truck, or at least the accessories that might come after. Obviously, guys, because this is a Traxxas Maxx, steering knuckles, C-hubs, bearing carriers, bell cranks, all that stuff will be shared between the two trucks. So, but as for like light kits and stuff, guys, I can't really comment much on that. Only just because this does kind of look like a light kit. I don't know if it's the UDR I'm thinking of, but these little holes, that's what it kind of reminds me of. Bumpers, we got the wheelie bar. If you haven't seen already, it can kind of be adjusted 2 different ways. If you want big wheelies or little wheelies. Pretty sure I said big wheelies there. But overall, guys, again, it looks really, really good. Now, I do want to quickly comment on the cage, because when I first saw this truck and I started looking at the pictures and I saw the underneath shot of the body, I was really impressed. Now, all I was referring to was the fact that they don't have a crazy cage underneath this truck or anything like that. After my experience with the Big Rock 6S, that would have been the last thing that I wanted to see. They look like they did just enough. So obviously it ties in between the front and the rear for the clipless body design. Underneath the roof, you've got this part right here that'll add quite a bit of support in a case of a rollover. You've got these mounts right here. Those are for your roof skids. So again, a very simple design, guys, just enough cage to kind of keep things a little bit protected, but you still have flexibility. You can still, guys, see on the side of the body here, impacts and stuff like that. You'll be fine. These guards right here, they go into the side of the truck right here, but they're separate from the actual cage, which I really, really like. They've kind of added a little bit of kind of like body stiffeners back here to sort of help with the weak points of the truck. Even though my Mojave 4S has something like that going on, and I've completely destroyed that part of the truck as well. So I don't know how much these will help. All right, guys, since we had the body off, I thought I would go over some of the electronics. Now, this is when some of the downside of this truck is going to come in. And these guys are based only on my opinions. I am not a huge fan of the VXL6S. If you've watched any of the videos I've ever done of anything newer Traxxas, I despise, I loathe, I think that's the word, this ESC. It bugs me so much that they went with this, because before this they had a Mamba Monster 2. It was basically a rebranded Castle Mamba Monster 2. It was a Mamba Monster at one time, way back in the day. And that was a terrific ESC. When they came out with the E-Revo 2.0, this was what they went with. They went with their own branded ESC. And in my opinion, guys, it's just garbage. It gives you speed and all that kind of stuff. It allows you to run 6S. For the most part, it works, but it just has terrible control. And that's always been my issue with it. It's never been a performance issue or a speed or any of that kind of stuff. It's just the way it feels. Now that ties in with the receiver and the radio, so the TQI, which again is something that I'm not a fan of. When I bought my Traxxas XRT a while back, I tried so hard to keep the stock electronics in it because I just didn't want to spend the money on anything else. But I did not like the radio and receiver. I found there was issues there. There was delays, cuts and stuff like that. Mixed in then with the issues of the VXL6S, it just amplified it that much more, and it just made the handling and the air control, especially, guys, I should emphasize, especially when it comes to air control and correcting, that is where I found the biggest flaws in the two systems. If you take this truck out and you just are kind of driving it around, you might not notice it much if you're just doing simple driving, but when you start really getting on it and you need those immediate responses and you're giving inputs and trigger inputs, the two of these just don't work well together. I'm referring, guys, to the receiver inside the receiver box. You have this servo. So originally, as far as I can remember now, this came with the X-Maxx, and it was also, guys, the Traxxas 4X Max. It works, it's not very fast, and it's not very torquey. And it's definitely not an ideal servo for a short course truck. Short course trucks, they're meant to be nimble, they're meant to be quick. And I don't think, guys, this is gonna work. We'll find that out once I actually start running it. But personally, guys, I just think that this is gonna be something that I'm not gonna be a fan of. I have already bought a few parts, guys, for this truck. I've got the Trio bell cranks coming, steering knuckles, C-hubs, and the rear hub carriers, just to kind of tighten things up a little bit. So I'm hoping that going with a better bell crank system and hopefully a better spring, that this will kind of tighten up and work a little bit better for me. You have the, oh, I should actually, guys, quickly mention, the stock motor is fine. I am going to stick with that motor, guys, for a while, I think. I did pick up a few Garage Life RC parts. So this is his Max 8 ESC mount. I've got a black one and I've got a green one. So I'm going to be able to replace the VXL6S with a Max 8. This will all go in and it'll all look nice and clean. But for now, I will stick with the ESC. And I should mention, guys, I don't know where I put it though, I'm going to be using the TQI from my TRX4 because that has the Bluetooth module in it. So I will try to work with it a little bit. I'll try to program things to see if I can make it any better. But I do remember when I was doing that with my Max, Wide Max, whatever it was, the last Max I had, no matter what I did, I could just never get it to handle right. When I wanted to kind of give it a little bit more brake, it's just kind of jumped up too far. And when I wanted to kind of bring it back, it just reduced it too much. So I know I've kind of ranked on this ESC, guys, for a while, but unfortunately, here in Canada, this was $1,000 truck, and I'm going to be replacing a lot of that. So between the ESC, the receiver and radio, and probably the servo, guys, that's probably $300 or $400 worth of Traxxas value, if you want to put it that way, that I've got to replace. So that is why I really kind of hit, and I kind of hit hard on the ESC, because I do feel like Traxxas could be doing a lot better. And this has been out now for quite a while, and enough people replace them that Traxxas should know that if you're going to make $1,000 truck, you should have $1,000 worth of electronics in it. You should have quality electronics. Every other company does. Arma, Losi, Axial. Team Corelli leads that. They all have terrific ESCs, and steering servos are good as well. Radios, receivers, they're what they are. I would say probably Axial, Losi, Arma, they do it the best with the Spectrum setups. But either way, I know I've kind of rambled on a long time about the ESC, guys, so I'll drop it. Battery system. Another thing I'm not a super fan of. So it's kind of neat. This has sort of the sledge setup where you have the little spot for the body clip so that you can lock this in. Now that does work really, really well. The only problem you have with is that you're really kind of limited with the batteries that you can go with. Now I did test a few of my batteries, and the Tattoo 6S 4000 milliamp 95C packs that I have do fit in here under this, but I'm addressing the guys that also right now. I did pick up the Garage Life RC battery setup, so it'll replace these pieces right here, put those in, and then you've got the Velcro straps. He also sent me this piece, and what this does is this will actually, guys, sit on top. The strap will go through so that if you are sticking with running 2 packs side by side, you have this piece to kind of hold down both packs instead of just one Velcro strap kind of sharing the 2-pack load. So that'll be, guys, coming in another video. We'll get to that. But that, guys, is a quick little rundown on the electronics, the battery tray and stuff like that. Everything else is very Maxx-like, and I say that, guys, in a positive way. This thing does look like a tank. The size of the plastic, the thickness of the plastic, the way everything ties in, looks really, really good. I was actually, guys, when I already had this truck outside, I was taking a couple of pictures and I was kind of banging this thing down on the front bumper. They look like they did a really, really good job of that. And to be fair, guys, Traxxas always does. Between their front bumpers and their rear bumpers, they always do a good job. Even, guys, the wheelie bars. Some people complain about the wheelie bars, that they tear them off. I've never done that. So I think, guys, this will probably be a great design, as well as it works well for a handle. Now, when it comes to the suspension, this is where things are going to change a little bit. And I'm sorry, guys, I wanted to keep talking super positive about this truck because this thing does look awesome. But there was one thing, and I actually took it out of the video, and I thought I would save it till now to show you. So here's the truck. We're going to pick it up. We're going to drop it. We're going to pick it up again a little higher. We're going to drop it. And here's my problem. There's not much travel. Lift it up, you got a little bit, but when you put it down, and I mean, again, guys, I don't have a battery in here, and yes, I have not tuned yet. I have not changed the springs or anything like that, but this should work better out of the box. There's not much travel there. So if this truck is ripping along and it's got to absorb impacts and stuff like that, or it's coming down off a jump, there's not much going on there. Now, when it comes to the rear, and this is, I don't even know how to comment on this. When it comes to the rear, it's not as bad. The reason it's not as bad is because of these things right here. So what they're doing, I guess the best way to say it, guys, is they're providing more droop. They're providing more travel. But why this was a part that concerned me right from the beginning. So from the first time that I saw this, because to me, this looks like a fix, not a permanent design. It looks more like a fix, like when the truck was all said done, that they got it out and then they were like, oh, there's kind of an issue going on here. And it's like they fixed the rear, but they didn't put it on the front. And that's what I'm just super confused with. Because when this truck's sitting here, and it's hard to tell, guys, from the angle you're at right now, but it's always sitting like this. And most of the time, yes, you would tune, you'd tighten down your collars and all that kind of stuff, but it just seems to be more an issue with the actual suspension, that maybe a truck like this probably should have had a newer shock or something. I'm not going to get into it, guys, but to me, they did something wrong, and they fixed it with this little kind of riser spacer thingamajigger back here, but then they didn't do it in the front. And obviously I said I wasn't going to refer to anybody else's videos, but obviously, guys, people have already started just buying these and they're putting it on the front as well. I'll probably do the same, but that's really weird to me. It's like Traxxas kind of acknowledged it and decided to fix it in the rear, but then was like, you guys can pay for the front. again, $1,000 truck, that wasn't very cool. Now, moving on to the tires, they are a belted tire. Now, that's a good and a bad thing. I'm going to address the bad things first. Because they're belted, they're not going to balloon. That means that when you start jumping this truck and you're looking for air control, you're looking for a quick response, whether you're leveling off, bringing up, going down, whatever you need to do, these tires are not going to aid in that. So that's why when you see stunt trucks, they always have big tires. They're not belted and stuff like that because that adds to the control of the truck. These things being a hard compound and belted, I think will not be a good tire for any air control at all. I'd be surprised if we get anything out of it. I have other wheels and tires that I'm going to try on this truck. I've just got to figure out kind of my offset and stuff like that. The ones I'm thinking of right now are my Method RC tires. Even though they are belted, they just seem to perform a lot better than everybody else's short course truck tire when it comes to not just handling, but even in air control. I don't know if it's just because they weigh a little bit more or something like that, but they definitely help. They helped my Mojave 4S. They helped the 6S Mojave. So I'm assuming that hopefully they'll do the same thing on this truck. The only thing is just the offset and stuff like that. I think they're going to sit in too much, so I'll need to bring them out a little ways. But I'm going to just quickly, guys, now grab the body and show you why it is a good thing to have belted tires on this truck. Now, the good thing, guys, to the belted tires is obviously that since these are not going to balloon, they're not going to turn into pizza cutters. So when you're ripping this truck along, you're ripping through a parking lot, you're ripping through a field, whatever you're doing, they're going to stay flat. They're going to stay in contact with the ground. That'll help with handling, traction, acceleration, all that kind of fun stuff. As well as, because they're not going to balloon, they're not going to get up in under here. They're not going to get underneath the wheel well and kind of wear down all the paint and all the film and all that stuff under here. So it will keep, guys, this part of the body looking a little bit better, and the same in the front. That, guys, is going to be the advantage to this. I won't really know on how things are going to be until I get out and start running this truck and be able to comment, really, is this a good or a bad thing? I think these tires will have a place with the truck. I think they'll have a place to run just when it comes to jumping. And if you're trying to get a backflip out of this truck and all that kind of fun stuff, I don't think these are the tires that you're going to want to be running. Now, a few more things I want to cover in this video is I'm still rocking, guys, the Traxxas X stand. So this is the stand for the X-Maxx and the XRT. I have been using it for pretty much every truck lately. And just like with all the other trucks I've been using it on, it works great with the slash, or with the Max Slash. I was about to call it the Slash 4 before. The Max Slash, you can see, guys, it's well balanced. I can fling the truck around. It's all good. Obviously, it doesn't kind of cradle the same as it does with the X-Maxx and the way the battery trays are and stuff like that, but it still works really, really well. And it was funny because when I was buying this, I had thought of getting the smaller stand, so the 1/10 stand, or 1/8 stand, I don't even know what they refer to it as, but I just thought, you know what, I'm going to give this stand a try first and see how it works with this truck, and I am pleasantly happy, guys. It has worked with everything. So thumbs up to Traxxas for the stand. The other thing I want to quickly go over is the tires. So I'm going to do my best to kind of flatten these out here. These are obviously the stock tires. These are the Method RC belted tires. And these would be awesome. Unfortunately, you can see right there the difference where the hex is. So the offset, unfortunately, is not anywhere close to being what it is on the stock wheel. So hopefully Method comes out with a different insert. So this is a removable insert. You can take that out, guys, or a removable hex. And hopefully they make something with just a little bit more width to it so that we can get these things kind of sitting on here nice. Unfortunately, you can see right now with the way the thread is, they would sit way too far in. And you need about, I don't know, guys, I'm going to guess maybe a 1/2 inch. You could probably do it with a hex, like adapter, a hex extension. So I'd have to just kind of look at, see what's out there. There is obviously a lot available for this truck, so there's probably something I can find that'll work. Personally, I still would rather just replace this and be good to go. Either way, we will get these eventually on this truck. Now, the one thing that's really nice with this truck, guys, is that because it is a Max, it shares a lot of the same parts with the Traxxas Maxx, the 1/10 scale monster truck. So when you're looking at parts for this, I wanted to replace my C-hubs, my steering knuckles, my hub carriers, bell cranks, all that kind of stuff. And I just went on Trail's website, went to the 1/10 scale Max, and I was able to just to get all those parts. Now, I did go on Traxxas's website first. I pulled up all the, exploited views and all that kind of stuff. And I did triple check that these were all the same part numbers, which they were. I even think, guys, this brace right here, this top one, it'll be the same part. It looks to be the same size and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be kind of a fun truck to work on. Arms are Max Slash. That's the one thing, guys. So obviously the steering knuckles, or sorry, the drive shafts, I mean, they will all be just Maxx. So you'll have to wait for those parts to come out for the Maxx Slash. Now, you could run wide Maxx or even just the normal 110 scale Maxx arms and push this truck out a little bit. I don't want to do that. I think that's kind of goofy. I've already seen a couple of people do it. I think it just makes the truck not look like a short course truck. And if you're going to have a truck like that, just build a truck like that. Buy a truck like that. Personally, guys, I want this to stay looking like a short course truck. And I'm going to do my best to get this thing handling the way it should. But guys, there you have it. The Traxxas Maxx Slash. This is one great looking truck. And I'm just hoping that it handles and will handle the way I want it to. We've got the Garage Life RC parts coming, guys. We've got the Trail RC parts coming. But I am just definitely looking forward to getting this thing out and giving it its first run. We are going to run it completely stock ESC, stock servo, stock radio gear, stock transmitter, stock tires, you name it. And we'll take out the ramp and we're going to jump it. We're going to do some high-speed runs and we're just going to have fun with it and hope that this truck surprises me, I guess is the best way to say it, because it's got big shoes to fill. I've already mentioned, guys, the Mojave 4S is one of the best trucks, period. Not just best short course truck, but one of the best RCs that you can buy out of the box. And it's a 4S truck, so that's why this thing got me so excited, because this is a 6S truck. And the one issue I do have with the Mojave 4S is that stock, it's a little bit slow. And I've been doing, guys, obviously a lot of tweaking. If you've been watching some of the videos for that truck, I have changed up quite a bit on it. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing does right out of the box. But guys, that's it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give me a big thumbs up. Please subscribe. And yep, there are a few pics.